Welcome back to another episode of Projecting Grandeur. I'm your host, Ron Dichter. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for being part of this community. This channel is all about helping entrepreneurs, the people who are the risk takers, the innovators, the disruptors, the people that are making the world better for you and I. And while I don't have all the answers, I have started and exited many businesses, and any wisdom that I have that I can pass on to entrepreneurs to help them in their journey, I'm all about that. And I bring on some amazing guests that have way more experience and knowledge than I do to help continue this message and to really help entrepreneurs change the world. Today, I want to talk really about honesty, and I want to talk about being honest with yourself. I was thinking about this over the weekend, and I kind of think of my own life in that, I feel like I'm a pretty motivated person. I've got a lot of ambition and I've got a lot of drive, but there are times where I find myself lying to myself to make myself feel better about maybe I don't want to call it a low point, but maybe something that's not being done exactly as I would like it to be done or that I know should be done. And it's a really interesting concept to be able to, look yourself in the eye and be honest with yourself, because it's really easy, and maybe it's a veiled attempt to try to pep talk yourself, but being honest with yourself about you is really hard to do because you see yourself in this great, amazing light, but sometimes you as a person or you as a business leader aren't doing all the things that you know or should be doing. And I am very guilty of this where, I feel like I run at a really high level. And so anything short of that, I feel like is a failure. And so I have to be honest with myself, number one, about what it is I'm capable of doing. You've probably heard those expressions like your eyes are bigger than your stomach, or, bit off more than they can chew. And I believe, like, when I plan out my day, and I spend a lot of time on Sunday planning out my week ahead and what I'm going to do, and really trying to carve out, my time allocation so that I can maximize what I'm going to do in that week. And sometimes I find myself putting on my list way more than I'm realistically capable of doing. But on Sunday, I'm looking at myself and I'm saying, you can do this. If you just focus and you go down and blah, blah, blah. And I get into this little, talk track of trying to convince myself that I can do these things. And then what ends up happening is I get to Friday, which personally is my least favorite day of the week, because I look at all the things that I didn't get done during the week that I had hoped to, and it frustrates me. And so one of the things I'm really trying to work on myself is being honest with myself about what I'm capable of doing and realizing it's okay if I can't accomplish just everything that I want to in a week. It's better to put on, my list, things that I know I can accomplish, that I can feel like I had a win at the end of the day and at the end of the week, rather than putting a bunch of stuff on there that's only going to deflate me at the end of the week because I didn't get to them, because I knew they weren't realistic when I put them on the list in the first place. Second thing, when you talk about, something that you're doing, a decision that you're making, or some process that you're going through, being honest with yourself again about where you are at, being honest with yourself about where your company is at, and again, trying to, fight fights that you can win, and being realistic about what expectations you can put on yourself, what expectations you can put on your team. And I find myself again having to really, rein myself in and helping to, be honest about what we're capable of doing. And again, there's nothing wrong with having aspirations and dreams and goals that are bigger than what you can do. I mean, I'm all about that. I mean, heck, the concept Projecting Grandeur is all about that. But also having a sense of reality is important, especially if you know that you're putting something out there that's just so unachievable that it's going to let you down. So I really try to, spend time being honest with myself. I want to stretch myself. I want to push myself, but I don't want to put myself in a position where I always feel like I'm failing. And so that's where I try to be realistic with myself. The other parts of this is just being honest with yourself about what you're good at, what you're not good at, where you need to hire people to fill gaps. And, sometimes as a CEO, and definitely as a first-time entrepreneur, you feel like, the entire business rests on your shoulders, right? It's all about you. And the reality is that you're going to find people who are way more talented than you are, way smarter than you are. And frankly, if you aren't finding those people, you're hanging out with the wrong crowds. You should be finding people that are more talented, smarter, more creative. They have skills that you don't have. And so being honest with yourself about, like, here's the lane of things that I'm really good at, and here's the things that I'm not so good at that I need to fill roles. And again, in the beginning, you probably don't have the ability to hire, so you're doing all of those roles yourself. But again, knowing what your strengths are, knowing where you're good, knowing where you're not that good and being honest with yourself about that allows you to create a plan so that you can hire those people that can help make the business better because they're doing things that you're not really good at. And that is something that I have struggled with a lot in my early career, is how to admit that you're not that good at certain things so that you can find people who are smarter and more talented than you are at doing them. So again, just some things that I think have really helped me. And as I start to plan out, this next year ahead of us and really starting to put, action, into my plans, I really try to set goals that are achievable, but stretch, but also things that I can have these wins along the way. So I feel good about what's being accomplished. So just be honest with yourself. Don't be afraid to have things that you're not good at. That's all part of the process. Nobody is good at everything. You need people to help you. And that is how you're going to get your business forward, is just stop lying to yourself, be honest, focus on what you're good at, fill people in on the things you're not, and that's how you're going to grow. Hope you find this helpful. My name is Ron Dichter. This is Projecting Grandeur. Please don't forget to like and comment. Most importantly, subscribe so you don't miss out on any new episodes that come out. And please share this with a friend. We're trying to change the world by helping entrepreneurs who are disrupting, innovating, taking the risks to make this world a better place. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day.